Listen, every office place needs to implement this. What are we even doing?
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Bird, the wait is finally over. The NHL season is officially underway. Well, sort of. The Sabres and Devils kicked off their season in Prague as part of the NHL's Global Series. But other teams are still playing preseason games. So yeah, it started, but kind of, not really. Not for all of us. Don't worry, we'll have more on the Sabres later in the show. But for now, let's bring in Craig Button and finish our One Great Question series. Button, good to see ya.
Hello, Marissa.
Okay, Craig, the last team on our list, we gotta talk about Jesse Pollock's Winnipeg Jets. Despite him thinking they're a cup contender each year, this team has not made it past the second round in 6 years. Does this version of the Jets need to be broken up? Or is there still a little left in the tank with this group?
Oh, Jesse. He have great faith in his Winnipeg Jets. He, with every reason to believe after some excellent regular seasons, that, yeah, this could be the season for the Winnipeg Jets. Well, that certainly has not been the outcome that not only Jesse has hoped for, but Winnipeg Jets fans have hoped for as well. When I look at this team and I look at it organizationally, I just see a group that has done everything so well, from ownership to management to coaching, development, scouting, putting good players on the ice, signing players to long-term contracts that really give them a chance to win. And yet, there's not the ability for them to turn that into playoff success. Each year, certainly last season was another example. You go into the playoffs and you think, this is the year. This is the year for the Winnipeg Jets. Top goaltender, really great defensively, really good, strong balance in their forward group. And they go out. And not only do they get eliminated from the playoffs, but they got wiped off the map by the Colorado Avalanche. So when we look at this team and we know it's a good regular season team, they haven't shown the ability to get their level of play up where they can be considered a contender come playoff time. And I don't think it's going to change. I think for the Winnipeg Jets, bold has to be the word that they use. You look at the Vegas Golden Knights, they were bold in a lot of different areas for a number of years. It didn't always lead to ultimate success until it did in 2023 with the Stanley Cup. The Florida Panthers, they had success. They were bold. It didn't lead to immediate success. But what they said was, we are not going to accept the same results. We are not going to continue being a good regular season team. And at the end of it all, when we get to the playoffs, just fizzle out. That's what the Winnipeg Jets have done. I think for Kevin Shoveldayoff now, it's about being bold. There's no guarantees that you're going to be ultimately successful by being bold, but there is a guarantee that you won't be successful unless you're bold. And I think that's where the Winnipeg Jets find themselves now. Excellent players on their team, excellent prospects, and more than that, opportunity to change playoff outcomes.
Craig Button, it would be even better for them if they were bold and beautiful. You can't mess with that. Craig Button, thank you so much. A pleasure as always. Have a good one.
Thank you, Marissa. And I know that you're rooting for your Toronto Maple Leafs.
You got that right, buddy. Time now for M&M's Huddle. So let's huddle with our home team and dive deep into this weekend slate.
Hi.
And today we're focusing on the clear game of the week. It's the 3-1 Bills taking on the 3-1 Texans. But more importantly, the Stephon Diggs revenge game, as the Texans receiver takes on his former team. You all know the history. Allen and Diggs connected for 445 receptions from 2020 to 2023. That's the most of any quarterback receiver duo in that time. Diggs also caught 37 touchdowns from Josh Allen in that span, tied for the most of any duo in football, with only Mahomes and Kelsey. So yeah, arguably these two are the most dangerous duo in the NFL in their time together. And then Diggs was traded for a second-round pick to Houston, with the Bills taking a $31 million dead cap hit just to get rid of him. And since the trade, the Diggs numbers have definitely fallen off. He averaged 81.4 receiving yards a game in Buffalo, and 12.1 yards per reception. But now he's averaging just 58.3 receiving yards a game, his lowest total since 2015, and 9.3 yards per reception, which is a career low. But if you're hoping for either player to say this is a revenge game, well, it's not going to happen. When asked about Diggs, Allen said, quote, "I've got a lot of love for him. I still do. The things that he did for me in my career and the things that he did in a Buffalo Bill uniform won't be forgotten anytime soon, especially from me. But going into year 7, I understand the business and the aspect of what this league is. And again, I'm just trying to focus on what we got going on in this building." I mean, I feel like that was pretty respectful. That was pretty nice. That's a nice quote. And when Diggs was asked about Josh, he also would not take the bait, saying, quote, "Block out the noise. A lot of other people are going to feel away or have a lot to say about X, Y, Z, and I don't mind. I'm not mad at it, just trying to go 1-0. These are just great quotes. This is exactly how you should handle questions as an athlete, in my opinion. But this should get everyone fired up for this game. And we got some big injury news regarding the game this morning, as Josh Allen will be without one of his biggest weapons, as Khalil Shakir will not be on the field Sunday in Houston, with Ed Oliver also out for the Bills. CTV and TSN have you covered with a plethora of great games this weekend. It all starts Sunday at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on CTV. It's the Bills and Texans. Then at 4:25 on TSN, we got the Packers and Rams. Then it all finishes off with Sunday Night Football. One of the NFL's oldest rivalries as the Cowboys take on the Steelers. But that's not all, because for you TSN Plus subscribers, you can also get the Colts and Jags. And that's a huge game, as a Jags loss could pretty much end their season, and could also mean Doug Peterson is out of a job. And if you're looking for even more NFL content, head to TSN's YouTube page right now to watch the latest episode of Broken Table. As Aaron Krolnick, Stevie Johnson, David Sanchez, and Christopher Hine are talking all things NFL, this week going hard at the Diggs-Bills matchup, as well as plenty of Devontae Adams trade talk. So head to TSN's YouTube to watch, or if you're watching this right now on Insta, just click the link below. Time now for our favorite segment, and yours, We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
We all played Simon Says as kids, but did you know at the highest levels they're actually competing in it?
Simon says run, Simon says stop, Simon says run, Simon says stop, hands up, Simon says hands up, run in place, run in place. Simon says run in place, Simon says stop, hands down, Simon says hands down, hands up, Simon says hands up, hands down, Simon says hands down, run in place, both did it. Simon says hands up, Simon says hands on head, Simon says hips, Simon says head, Simon says hips, Simon says head, Simon says hips, Simon says head, Simon says tap, Simon says stop, Simon says stop, hands up, Simon says hands up.
What
hands
the?
down,
This is
Simon
not.
says hands down. They're good. Simon says lean forward, Simon says stand up straight, Simon says hands up, Simon says hands down, hands up, Simon says hands up, hands down, Simon says hands down, run in place, run in place,
I don't
Simon says run, Simon says stop.
How do you
hands
even
up,
train
Simon
for
says
something
hands
like
up,
this? You
wave
just
it
have your
around,
buddy
wave it
that's
around.
good
Simon
at
says wave, Simon says stop, wave it around, wave it
Auctioneering?
around, Simon
What?
says
I don't even
wave,
know.
Simon says run, Simon says stop.
How does one
hands
qualify
down.
for this? Oh, this is Ludwig's streamer games, guys. Ludwig is an OG Smash Brothers esports player, and he's a streamer now. This is crazy. This is amazing. Esports gone mainstream with Simon Says. Well, 30 teams don't play until next week. As we told you off the top, the Devils and Sabres have already opened up the NHL season, as they played the first of back-to-back games in Prague today. These two teams are heading into the season to rebound, as they both took steps back last season. We've already looked at the Devils last week, so let's take a look now to see if the Sabres can get back into the playoffs for 2025. It's worth noting that they are on a massive postseason drought, one that goes all the way back to 2011. And to put that into perspective, let's just look at how much these fans have changed since the last time they were in the playoffs. Oh my gosh, look at how young and innocent and precious. They didn't know all the years of heartbreak that would lead them to this moment. Now they're full-grown men. And as crazy as a 13-year-long drought is, it begs the question, what's causing this? And the answer lies within the Atlantic Division. Because since 2011, it's had arguably the best NHL teams, as two of their division rivals have won the most total games over that span. But things get crazier when narrowing it into the last 5 seasons. Because in those years, 4 of the top 6 teams in the NHL came from the Atlantic. With the current postseason rules, a maximum of 5 teams per division can make the playoffs. And these 4 teams have made the playoffs for at least 5 straight seasons, leaving just one spot up for grabs. But teams in the Metro are also fighting for that spot, making it much tougher for Buffalo. So how can they change things and end the drought this year? Well, for starters, they have to get back to the level of scoring they had in 2023, where they put up the 3rd most goals a game, and getting them as close to the playoffs as they've ever been since 2011, finishing just 1 point shy of the wildcard spot. But last season, their scoring fell back down to 23rd, and they were out of the playoff picture entirely. It would also happen one of those top 4 teams in the Atlantic takes a step back. It's hard to pick who it would be, though, especially with the Panthers winning the Cup and the Bruins, Leafs, and Lightning all being on long postseason streaks. But if one of those teams does regress, it could open the door for the Sabres. It would be nice. It would be nice for our neighbors here to make the playoffs. I just want this for Buffalo fans, you know? You know what though? They have the Bills. I don't know. They have things to be excited about. In Toronto, we have less. I just want this to be about me, okay? Let's make this about me, less about Sabres fans. That's all for today's Here Monday. Have a great weekend.